Hey guys, I'm here to tell you some hard truths. Life ain't easy. Well, you start out, you think you've met the person of your dreams. You end up with them in a relationship. You maybe have a kid or two or more. You build a community of friends around you. Life is good. You still struggle with paying the bills sometimes, but you have a job, you have your health, your kids are happy, you're happy for the most part. But then something starts to kind of feel off. You get kind of in that hamster wheel of work and chores and errands and running around the kids with their activities, and you just feel off. You feel a little neglected in your marriage. The communication kind of wanes. Maybe one or both of you start looking outside the marriage for that extra comfort, that nurturing, that attention, that communication that you guys just aren't giving to each other. And then you think, okay, well, I think the grass is greener. Or they think the grass is greener. So you guys decide to split. And you think maybe life will get easier or better or both. And then you see your kids half the time. You have a so so relationship. You try to make it work. Even in the best of circumstances, divorce is never easy. But you try to get along for the betterment of the kids, and you think you're doing a good job. You're at, volleyball together, soccer together. You think, hey, I'm a cool co-parent. I can get along with my co-parent. The kids seem to be doing okay, but they're split in two, both of your homes. Then you start to date. Maybe the relationship you were in at the end of the marriage, I don't know, maybe you guys just didn't work out. And then that relationship ends. And then you kind of recoil a little bit and you try to find yourself in another relationship only to be either left or it just didn't, work. It fizzled. And you're like, what the fuck? What am I doing wrong? Right? I'm here to tell you you're not doing anything wrong, but I'm just telling you to take a beat, take a step back, figure out, how did I get here? Because until you can reverse engineer where you are and how you got there, you're going to continue to go down that same trajectory or the same patterns over and over and over again. You're going to continue to make the same type of miscalculations in relationships. You're going to pick out the same type of people. You're going to find yourself in similar circumstances over and over. And why is that? Because we are accustomed to patterns. It's not our fault. It's basically a byproduct of our upbringing. Our personalities are formed at such a young age, and the circumstances and the situations we found ourselves in when we were really young continue to repeat, almost like on autopilot. That's not our fault. As young kids, that's how we were trained, and that's how we were raised, and that's what we thought was normal. And so then as adults, we find similar patterns, similar circumstances until we're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Why am I here again? How did I get into the same relationship again? Looks like a different person on the outside, but the same situation happened, the same circumstances occurred. So how do we get out of that? Well, we have to look first within ourselves. We have to say, okay, how did I get here? What did I do that caused maybe me to pick this person, maybe me to repeat these same patterns? Maybe you're a person that tends to be like the victim in relationships or the overgiver and perhaps maybe the emotionally avoidant one. Maybe you've been so hurt in relationships that you just want everyone to do for you. You're just like so scared that you don't want to put yourself out there anymore. And that's okay. We're not here to blame anyone. I'm certainly not here to judge anyone. Lord knows I've been through my own share of shit. Okay? But all I can say is until you really look within, honestly, deeply look at who you are being in any given moment, you won't be able to identify these patterns and you won't be able to break them or fix them, correct them, whatever language you want to put on them. Because until and unless you look at yourself, you're going to continue to live that same type of life. Your partner might look different, but you're going to create the same circumstance. And don't you want to be a better role model for your children? Don't you want to show them what it's like to have value for yourself so that you can then live in a valued and valuable relationship, feel valued internally, and then that will be expressed externally? You want to raise your children to be able to espouse those feelings of self confidence, self worth, self esteem, not from anyone else, but from themselves. You want to be able to be that version of you who teaches by doing and being. Because let's face it, kids do not listen to us, they watch us. Everything is about who you are being. And that goes true for dating. Don't you kind of often hear people say, well, it's not what they say, it's what they do? Actions speak louder than words. Well, that goes true for who we are. Our actions, not only outwardly to someone else, but how we treat ourselves, is a clear indicator of how we feel about ourselves. If we respect ourselves, well, then we're going to have boundaries to say, you know what, maybe this person isn't for me. Maybe this relationship isn't good for me. Maybe, this love bombing, maybe I, can see it for what it is. I'm not going to accept it because you know what? I know people like that tend to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe not. Maybe that assumption is just that. But you, when you're stronger and have more self confidence and self awareness, you'll be able to discern for yourself what is tolerable for you and what is not. So the next time you ask yourself, oh my God, how in the heck did I get here again? Say, you know what? Well, I know how I got here. I didn't value myself. I didn't have the boundaries that I necessarily needed. I didn't prioritize my needs. Shoot, I would have rather stayed at home and watched a movie and had a glass of wine than go out on this date with this loser, right? You have to know what's within your own parameters, your boundaries, your self-esteem, your self-worth. Because I'm telling you right now, if you get a divorce, if you're thinking about divorce and you think the grass is greener, well, it's only greener where you water it. So where are you watering it? Are you in the marriage right now thinking, you know what, I can do better than my asshole spouse right now? Well, are you thinking that because you're not nurturing the relationship? You're paying more attention to Joe Schmo at the office than your spouse? Or are you abandoning yourself because you're so hungry for that validation that you need, that maybe it's your spouse who's cheating on you and you're going to do anything and everything that you can to stay in this unhealthy, dysfunctional marriage? The time you need to take is now. Now is when you need to decide, okay, what do I need? What do I want? What can I live with? And it doesn't happen overnight. You need to sit with yourself for some time and figure out, what do I want my life to look like? If I want to stay in this marriage, then you need to first come home to yourself. I've talked about this in other videos, but that's truly the only way you're going to know what it is that you want, what it is that you need. And only then, when you become crystal clear on what it is that you want, will you then be able to navigate a roadmap to figure out how to attain it. So if you want to stay in this marriage, then you need to work on yourself and your identity to be like, nope, I am the version of myself who is only treated with respect, who is only valued, who is awesome, who knows his or her worth. You know your worth to your core, and you will not put up with bullshit. Then when you become that sovereign, then your spouse will have no choice but either to get on board, or it will dissolve much more peacefully than it would have had you not done the work on yourself. I'm not saying to stay in abusive situations or highly toxic, but I am saying that until and unless you get a hold of yourself, you will not have the strength or the wherewithal to get out of the marriage in a healthy, meaningful way. You need to really look within to say, okay, I can handle the divorce now. Because divorce is not easy. The process of divorce can be very taxing, not only socially, economically, financially, emotionally, psychologically, all of it. And if you have children, then it's 10 times worse, especially in a toxic situation. I have helped thousands in highly conflicted divorces, and high conflict situations is truly what I meant to say, but high conflict situations, and it's not easy. And if you do not have the emotional stability to take care of yourself through that process, then you will not fare as well as if you took the time prior to the divorce to figure all this shit out. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you through very stressful times, because I can help you navigate your way through with your lawyers. I can help you figure out emotionally where you are. I know the questions to ask. I know what to do and how to talk to your spouse during all of this. Because everything that you put in writing, you want to be very careful, because courts and judges and lawyers, everyone will see it. So do not think that your communications are private. That's why you have to get a handle on yourself, a hold of yourself and your emotions, to really know how to handle things and talk through things and deal with your spouse and deal with co-parenting, all of it. So come back to yourself, figure out what you want. If you want to stay in the marriage, well, then you need to be the strong person with the identity of the version of yourself who knows their power, knows their worth, and knows the treatment they deserve. And maybe you go through counseling, maybe you go through, 6 months or a year committed to the marriage. But you can't do it alone. The spouse has to do it too. Your spouse has to work on it with you. So while you're going through all of this, if you need the support, I'm here. But first, get clear on what you want and know the grass is not greener. Just remember always, the grass is greenest where you water it. Just remember that. The next time you decide to step out on your marriage, or the next time you want comfort with someone else, or the next time, you're afraid to leave because your spouse is cheating and they have all the money and they have all the power and they hold all the financial cards. If you start watering your own emotional stability, then you'll feel stronger to leave a marriage like that. You'll be able to know that you can financially support yourself and your children if you have to, because the strength comes from within. Peace comes from within. So get clear, and then we can work on the next steps moving forward. But again, in the best of circumstances, divorce is not easy. So you have to truly get a hold of yourself, your emotional stability, your psychological well-being, and know the path you want to take. You will get there and you will be better for it. And you will have a much better outset if you take the time to figure out what it is that you truly want and work on yourself first. Once you determine what you want, then we can get a better understanding of how your life will look afterward. And I'm here to tell you, once you nurture yourself, the grass will be greener, whichever path you take, whether it's staying or leaving. And if you decide to leave and you want a fresh start, then you'll know not to repeat the same patterns. You'll know that you need to really focus on yourself. And then if you find another partner, the pattern will not continue, because you'll know what it takes to have that healthy, stable relationship. Because what it takes is loving yourself and liking yourself and nurturing your spirit. So with that said, guys, I'm Sabrina. This is The Sovereign Divorce. And if you need my support, I'm here for you. I'd like to help you through any situation you might be in, and even really just getting clear. And, we all need that support from time to time. So thank you so much. Welcome to Sovereign Divorce. I'm here to help you every step of the way. Bye for now.